All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to another episode of We Create Music. I am your host, B. Vaughn, and today we have a very extraordinary guest, multi-talented producer, songwriter, music creator, entrepreneur, clothing ambassador. I mean, you name it. This guy does it all. This is the legendary SupaStar 6.
Okay, I'm gonna give myself.
That's right, yeah. Clap it up, brother. That's right. Welcome to the show, man.
Indeed.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, man.
Of course, of
It's been
course.
good this morning.
It's been good this morning?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up, brother.
Indeed.
You know, it's so crazy because we just found out recently that we're actually related.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That is so trippy. You know, he hit me up on Facebook. We kind of had a conversation about it. We went back and looked at genealogy,
Right,
and
right.
boom, there it was. It's like, wow. So not only is he super talented, right? But we're also related. So that's super cool. I love
Right
that.
on.
That's dope.
Right on.
That's right. And he doesn't live too far from here. So that's even more amazing.
Yep. So we got a lot of work to do.
A lot of work to do. So we're about to get into it.
Indeed.
So SupaStar 6, if you wouldn't mind, just tell us about how you got started in this whole music industry.
Well, the music runs in our family, very deep, you know.
Mhm.
And as a kid, you know, I watched my aunts and uncles and my mom, you know what I'm saying, singing and playing instruments and all that good stuff. And it was always around me. It was there. I discovered my talent for it when I was about 7. About 7 years old, I realized that I actually had to give. One of my cousins used to try to boost me up to rap and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always beating on stuff, and you know, he was like, "Man, I think you can do it." So that's how it started. I started out as a rapper, and then you know, getting into making beats and stuff like that. It's like once I dove into it, that's when everything started coming out of me. Like all the different gifts that I didn't know I had just started. You know.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Good. You know, so you got started when you were 7, right? That's an early age for kind of most of us. I kind of got started kind of around the same age for my love of music as well.
Right.
And so at 7, you started getting into figuring out that you could utilize these gifts and you have these kind of gifts. So just talk about how you went from identifying those gifts until actually started utilizing them to become a producer.
Right.
What were some of the things that you did? Kind of walk us through some of the people that you kind of work with and things like that. So, yeah.
Well, my career has been, I'm only 33, but the stuff that I've done in this lifetime is like, wow, I really have done a lot. And just, it's amazing. I remember it all. You know, so from a kid to the transition into, you know, music producer, I started producing beats in the 7th grade.
Wow.
And I always had that entrepreneur spirit. Like I would get my classmates, you know, if they wanted to rap or something like that, I would, hey, you know, come to the house. You know, my mom used to get mad at me about that. You know what I'm saying? She come home, I got a bunch of people in the house. You know, why you got all these people in my house? You know, all y'all get out of here. You know.
That's right.
But that's really where it started. You know, the school, producing other people, and by the time I was lucky too because my mom, she ended up working at a radio station.
Wow.
The local radio station in my hometown, and she went from being, you know, secretary to manager and the program director and all that stuff. So I got an opportunity to get in the industry early and start dealing with the labels, you know, finding out how you send demos and all this stuff like that. You know, I would sneak in her office and go through the rolodex. You know, I'm gonna call this person and say I'm from, you know, radio station, blah blah blah, and all this extra stuff. So it was a cool thing, man. You know, and by the time I graduated high school, I had a major deal offer.
Wow.
You know, so it was like that grind. I just remember, you know, it was a consistent thing. You know, from early on until I'm a senior in high school. You know, and as soon as I graduated, I was gone. You know.
Yeah. I mean, from when I was doing my research, even before you know, he even came onto the show. We even found out we were related. You know, always doing research on people. So even last night, I was going back and doing some reading. So talk about talking about your first deal. So kind of talk about that. What was that experience like? From you just now getting out of high school and you already got a major deal already. So kind of talk about that experience and how that felt and maybe some of the challenges you had with that process.
I learned early on. You know, to not really take everything that people say, you know, as, you know, word is born, you know what I'm saying, that type of thing. I learned that early because I'm not gonna mention the first label that reached out to me, but they tried to get me to do some other stuff. You know, they really wanted to take my music and use it, but that's another story. But anyway, I always knew. It's like I knew that it was gonna happen. I didn't know when, but I knew it was gonna happen. I just, you know, but it was still a surreal type of situation. You know, when something like that happened, it's like, is this really real? You know, it literally went from me calling places and sending out demos and crying and everything else that came with the process. You know, it just till somebody calling me and saying, "Hey, your demo is one of the best I done heard." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I done heard that before."
Right.
You know, and they was consistent with it. Like, they called me back. Like, "Hey, I get into this. I was originally supposed to be signed with Roy Jones Jr.
Okay.
It's by the head music.
Yeah, there's the label that he had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Originally. But what happened was Brandon, which is the guy who actually discovered me, I'm going to give him credit on that. But Brandon Pop was Butch Lewis.
Okay.
And Butch Lewis was starting a label. He had just did a joint venture with Reid and JAY-Z at the time. And they started Voices Music Group. And he was like, I think we should entertain that idea, you know, of taking you over there. You could probably be the first artist to come out on the label. So I was like, cool, run it. Let's see what happens, you know. And he flew me to New York. I met Butch Lewis, and the rest was really history after that. It changed my life, man.
Wow.
You know.
Yeah, it's like, I bet there's a life changer.
Oh,
right
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Definitely. Especially coming from such a small town, not really getting the opportunity to even meet celebrities. Or only time you would see a celebrity is on TV. You know. So just flying to New York, I was 17 at the time. Flying to New York, meeting Butch Lewis, and everybody coming through his office. I'm sitting there like, wait a minute, dude, this is Bob Johnson from BET right here. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, listening to my music and everybody listening to my music like, yo, you pretty talented, man. All this you? Yeah.
Again.
You
Yeah,
know?
because you play instruments as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's rare that you find someone who can do multiple things, right? You have most people who can rap,
right,
or who can sing, but not who can rap, sing, and play instruments.
Yeah.
Also, and mix and master and do all the many different things that you do as well. So people kind of gravitate toward those things immediately because they recognize the talent, and it's a very rare talent that people have, right? And so kudos to those guys for noticing that in the very beginning and kind of taking you on that journey, with them.
Right.
Yeah. So high school. I want to go back to high school. You played basketball in high school.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah, I read it was. Now you got to correct me if I'm wrong, but in what I was reading, it said you were the 16th in the nation.
16th in the nation.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, basketball, you know, it used to be ball is life. You know what I'm saying? When people see me now, they be like, man, you play ball or something? Like, man, my knees ain't as good as they used to be, bro. I ain't got it like that no more. You know what I'm saying? So
that's what's up.
I miss it though. You know. Yeah.
So how did you go from doing that to kind of finding your career in music?
That was a hard thing to deal with in high school because I was good and I was so tall. Everybody just knew they was like, yo, he gonna go to the league. You know, so I was like, you know, it was a lot of pressure on me with that. You know, I loved basketball, but music was my thing. You know what I'm saying? It was like, that was like the sugar in the coffee. You know what I'm saying? Like it was my passion. I was passionate about the music. So, and at the time, I'm gonna tell you, it was a struggle dealing with that because, especially with my mom, because she didn't really make it into music. So she was like, no, basketball is what it is, and you need to focus on that. You know, even though she was there in the background, like, you know, but I think everybody really wanted me to play ball because it was like, that's a sure shot. It's a no-brainer.
It's like a no-brainer. You're tall, you're good at it. It's a no-brainer.
Yep, but what ended up happening was I got injured. And, we was playing in the summer league too. So I got injured, this knee right here. And I was forced to make a decision that, you know, was a life-changing one. And I'm glad I did it, but at the same time, sometimes I still be like, what if I would have? You know, that's the whole thing.
But no, that's reality. Like, what if your whole life could have took a different path? Yeah.
But no regrets on that because I knew what I was supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? It was like that voice in my head and in my spirit telling me, hey man, this is who you are. This is really what you're supposed to be doing. Now, there's going to be some sacrifices, some struggles with that. You can take the easy route and go play ball. Everybody know you good, you know what I'm saying? But this right here is tough. You know, I think the story behind it is what's going to make it so much, even much more greater.
Right.
You know, I could have went to the pros and played ball. I could have did that, but I said, nah, I'm gonna stick with my passion. You know, and it's like the universe said, I'm gonna make sure you do it. You know,
that's right.
The knee up, so I'm like, dang.
Yeah, it's funny how things work out.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's for sometimes to a detriment of something, that it ends up working itself for good in the way that it's supposed to, right? So for you, basketball was your love, but it wasn't your passion, right? And I think that's kind of what people need to understand too, is that you can have a love for something, right? And that's just like, oh, well, cool, I love doing it, but that's not my passion. It's not what drives me. It's not what I'm thinking about every moment I wake up. I always think about Whoopi Goldberg and Lauryn Hill in Sister Act, right? And Lauryn Hill was like, well, I don't know, you know, if I'm going to be singing or not. And Whoopi was like, look, wait a minute. When you go to bed, do you wake up thinking about singing? When you're doing whatever you're doing, do you think, then you're supposed to be a singer then? Yeah. Right? And so, you know, that's kind of what drives, in this case, it drives me too, right? I mean, because that's what my passion is. I love to do a whole bunch of other stuff. Right. But my passion, hands down, is music. Yeah. Hands down, is music. Yep. Yeah. So you spoke about sacrifices and challenges. So for you, what were some of those that you experienced in this music industry? Shoot, and what did you learn from those to help continue your career on the path that it is now? I've had to do a lot of stuff that I didn't want to do. You know, like giving other people my songs. You know what I'm saying? And seeing them perform my stuff on tours and on TV, and I'm sitting at the house like, I wrote that. You know what I'm saying? I made the beat. That's my song. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot that I had to endure coming in the industry, man, that I didn't like. You know, it made me very uncomfortable at first. But then I'm gonna tell you what changed my mind. I saw that Butch Lewis, this is what he did. He was in the studio
and this producer came in and he was working with the same group that I was working with, and he made this track, and the track was okay. I'm like, yeah, it's all right, you know. But afterwards, Butch wrote him a check for like $3,000. So I was like, hold on, wait a minute. So you can get paid for this? And he got paid first. So it changed. It changed everything. I'm like, wait a minute. So the producer get paid first, and they get paid more because they gonna keep getting paid on the back end. So I'm like, all right, I might need to exercise that a little bit, you know. So
yes,
yeah, that's how I got into, you know, making sure that I was always putting that out there too. Like, hey, I'm a producer too, because it's a million artists running around. So everybody I met, they be like, what you do, man? Oh, I produce, you know. But I throw a hook on the record too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You know, it's amazing that back in the day, and I've interviewed several people who have produced for big name people, and back then, I mean, they got paid. I mean, they got paid.
Yeah.
Not, you know, $100 for 3 beats. I mean, they got checks written out on the front, and they got paid their royalties and publishers on the back, right? So they got money. But it's so weird that today you got people who really don't want to pay.
No, the internet did that, man. You know, it's like when you think about inflation. You know what I'm saying? Where you got like so much of something, you know, and it's like the value of it goes down, you know. So I remember when I first came to Atlanta, you know, I was charging like $5,000, which just ain't a whole lot. And this was like 2009, first time I came out here. I was charging like $5,000. And I never forget it. One of the artists I was in the studio, he was like, man, how much you charge? I say $5. He's like, what, 500? I say, no, $5,000. He's like, $5,000? No, man, you know, my partner and them charge, you know, XYZ and all this stuff. I'm like, for real? You know, and then the value just kept going down and down and further on down, you know. So now you got people giving tracks away, either free or $25 and stuff like that. Like, how in the world can we make a living off that? You know, but that's what
that's the that's the thing that kills me, because a friend of mine, he's a producer too. Yeah. He's in St. Louis. And we have many conversations about this very thing. You know, we got into really talking about macro and microeconomics, and how as a music community, we need to really understand macro and microeconomics and the impact that it has, because I don't think people thought about it when they went down that road of selling their beats the way that they did. Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine Timbaland ever selling the beat for $300, for $500, something like that, right? Yeah. I mean, they were charging $50, $150 grand per track, right? And that's the time and the effort, not just for the track itself, but the time, the energy, the effort, you know, being up for 2-3 days trying to finish the track, make sure you have a quality product. Right. But now today, it's so crazy. I see so many different things all over the internet, and I think the ease of buying equipment. Right. Now, you know, you kind of said everybody is an artist. Now everybody's a producer now. Everybody's a producer. And it's like, wow. So even now being here in Atlanta, you're a producer, I'm a producer, right? We both live in the same city. So what are some things that people have to do to really separate or differentiate themselves from the rest in order to be successful?
I think it's your creativity. To be honest with you, it's like, I'll give you an example. Somebody said this to me a couple years ago, and I was like, wow, I never thought about that. She was like, you go in the grocery store, and there's all kinds of bread on the bread aisle. All of it is bread, but you got this brand of bread, but all of it is bread. She was like, those people aren't complaining about it being so much bread at the store. All these different brands. It's like they know that they put an extra ingredient in their bread that gonna taste different from this bread over here. You know, their marketing may be different. You know, it's like now. I love the way the industry used to be as far as you can't get Timberland over here. You got to go to Timberland to get Timberland.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Now all the producers sound the same. I'm talking to y'all. Stop sounding the same.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to create value and worth in your product, sound different. Be yourself with your music. You know, the sounds that you hear in your head, don't make the record sound a certain way because you think, well, this is what this artist might like. No, you're a producer. You create the sound. Give them the sound and let them put their sauce on top of it. And now you got something different. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, there's tons of cereal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people like different types of cereal.
Right.
Like, I don't like shredded wheats.
Right.
But I'm sure there's somebody out there that likes shredded wheat. I don't like grape nuts.
Yeah.
But they still make grape nuts.
Yeah.
Right? The worst cereal in the world. But people still make it. People still eat it. So everybody has a place within this music industry.
Yeah.
But I would have kind of agreed that everybody needs to stop sounding the same.
Yeah.
But I guess the question is, do you think that people do that because that's what is making money? And so if I sound like these types of artists, then I'm more in a position to make money if I kind of sound like an artist that people aren't really familiar with.
I'm going to give you a truth. It's not really a lot of money being made off music right now. So if you're doing that, saying, well, I can make money like this. No, because think about it. If everybody has that sound and the same sound of beat, let's say you wanted to charge $500 for the record. If they don't want to pay that, they'll go find another beat that sounds just like that because it's a million of them and pay $10 for it. So how much money are you really making off of it? You know what I'm saying? There's the thing I think a lot of producers are forgetting is there's more than one way to monetize your catalog. There's more than one way. And you have to start thinking from a producer point of view and aspect. Like you have to look at it like this, okay? What if a country artist came to you and said, hey, can you produce a country record for me? I don't want it to sound trap. I don't want no trap elements in it. I want a country record. Can you produce it? If you can't do that, then you just missed an opportunity. You see what I'm saying? So what my advice to producers and songwriters or artists, try to be well-rounded with what you do. That way, if an artist in Beijing or something, need a whatever type of music, if they need a record that sounds a certain way, be willing to say, well, let me learn this sound and see how I can put my touch on it,
Yeah. That's great. That's great advice. Like I got a friend who he lives in Nashville. He works for a music publishing company.
Right.
He was managing a group, and I don't know if he still manages the group or not. So I'm sure, Greg, when you see this, you can clarify if you still manage the Van Leers or not. But it's a group called the Van Leers. They're like a country. I don't know how to describe them. They're like a country soft rock group. That's what I would call them. And maybe they really are country. Yeah. But he let me hear one of their songs. The song was amazing. But the song was produced by, I don't know if you know who Focus 3 Dots is. He's out in California. He's produced for Marsha Ambrosius, Dr. Dre, Jay-Z, Beyonce, a whole bunch of people, right? But he produced a track. Right. It is a country song. Well, when I heard the song, he didn't tell me who made it until we got to the very end. Right. And then he looked at me. He said, "What do you think about the song?" I was like, "Oh man, the song is great." He said, "Focus produced that." I was like, "What?" wait a minute, this is a country. He was like, yeah, he produced it.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes back to being well-rounded because this guy produces hip hop, R&B, pop, country.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a producer, you got to be able to produce music.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I think that's amazing advice. So greatly, I'm still asking that question later because I know you got some other gems in you that you can give people.
Indeed.
That's right. Good. Appreciate that.
For sure.
Yeah. So I think that's to be a producer. That's what you really you got to produce, right? You can't just I'm just a trap. Like I said, me and my friend, we have a ton of conversations about this whole thing. He's like, I don't do just hip hop. I do music.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about your music. Let's talk about your catalog and the things that you have done. And so you can just give us a history, just kind of run us through your music and just talk to us about before I even do that, you gotta check out his music. SupaStar 6, check it out. I mean, I know he's gonna tell you where you can find it and all that stuff, but man, I ain't just saying it because we related. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it is super dope. Super dope.
I appreciate
that,
man.
Yeah, kind of just talk about your music.
Man, I'll say this. I've always experimented with sound. You know, I like to take different genres of music and mix them together. I'm gonna say this on camera because I don't know if he's gonna remember this, but I'm gonna say this on camera. When I was like 17 years old, TJ the DJ, which is B.O.B.'s manager, he had got some of my music and he was like, I like all of it, but I can't tell which one is you on the record. And I was like, that's how I like it, you know. But he was telling me, he was like, man, you need a signature sound, you know, something that let people know that it's you because you do so much. Like I used to, well, I still do it now, but I would be on a record and I would sound like 5 different people on the song. You know. Like I might do some reggae here, or I might do some, you know, some rock stuff here. Like it literally sounded like different people on the record because that's how my mind works. Like I like to mix stuff up, you know. I was confused. I think I confused everybody. To tell you the truth, at one point, even Butch Lewis, he was like, "Man, I don't know which record to go with on you, man, because everything sounds good. And then you got all of these different, that's how you talk. I don't know. Yeah. Actually, he's a little bit worse than that. But I ain't gonna do Butch on camera for y'all, man. But yeah, you know, I like the experiment, man.
That's what's up. Yeah, I think being able to take different genres, different sounds, and kind of blend them together. Right. You know, most people kind of don't really get into like design of sounds, right? We kind of just hear a certain sound. Cool, that's the sound I'm gonna use.
Was that? Yeah.
You know, but we don't really go through the process of kind of tweaking, especially when, and I don't know for everybody, but I know most people that I know or that I've seen or have heard in the urban music scene, they don't like to really mess with buttons.
Right.
Like they hear a sound, cool, that's the sound, I'm gonna play that sound. But when you got guys who do like EDM music, them boys is twisting knobs, plugging stuff in, and they experiment with some of the craziest sounds. Right. But for us, we hear a bell, blink, blink, blink. That's the bell. You know, we're not gonna really experiment too much outside of that, right? So it's good and refreshing to hear that there's people out there who are really experimenting with their music to make music the best music possible for for them and for other people.
Yeah, I think it also, you know, music is a universal language. So even if somebody can't understand what you speaking to them, you know, your music can. They can understand your music, you know. So it brings cultures together. You know, it brings people together, you know. So I would say, you know, go for it, experiment with it. You know, we know that the most successful artists, they'll find a community that can identify with their music, and they'll push to that, and they win. I give you an example, Cardi B. You know, she's Spanish, you know, but the different cultures mixed together with the hip hop, and she brought her Latino stuff into the hip hop, and it flew, it took off, you know. So I would say expand. Now, what if she would have just said, "Well, I'm just going, you know, be trap artist, you know, rap artist," and didn't say, "Hey, no, I'm Latino." You know how she mix it in,
right? Yeah, I mean, she may not be the Cardi B that people know actually today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, she could be Cardi B and kind of be known for certain things, but she wouldn't, I don't know. I mean, she may or may not have, but, you know, the decision that people make in their life kind of equate to where they are in life.
Right.
And so if she made that decision, maybe she probably wouldn't be the Cardi B that we know today. Right. So talk about, you know, your music and where people can find it, and some of the people that you work with. I'm interested really in how you got to do work with Sony, and with some of those other major record labels and things like that.
You know, the first major artist that I ever produced a record for was Mr. Magic. For those of you who don't know who Mr. Magic is, Mr. Magic used to be with No Limit. I ain't gonna say, you know, what I want to say on camera, but we all know the record that they play in the club. You play the record in the club, everybody gonna know. You know, Mr.
You can say it if you want to.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's up to you.
Anyways, but I met Magic at the BET Awards. This was 2005, and his energy was just cool, man. And what happened, I ended up going to Pensacola. I went down to Roy's studio. I was actually working on a record for one of his artists, and I was in there banging out some beats, and Magic just so happened to walk past, and he was like, Shaggy. He said, "Hey, that's me right there." I said, "If you want it." He's like, "Yeah, man, burn that one right there, man. I need that, Shaggy." I said, I got you. I got you. And then after that, man, he just kept on rocking with me, man. I ended up cutting like 3-4 records with Magic, you know, and he started mentoring me in the game, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was one of my partners, man. You know, he passed too, man.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, but Magic, he opened the door. Once he got a record from me, then everybody wanted to start getting records from me.
Because it takes one.
You know? Yeah. So the whole the Sony thing that came about. I'm just dropping all kinds of names, man. I might as well. It was a group called Big Heat and Alien. And they was supposed to be like the black. What is it? They Laugh My Ass Off. Remember that?
The LMAO.
Yeah. It was supposed to be like a black version of that band, and Alien, I think he's still out there doing his thing. Big Heat is too. Shout out to both of y'all. But they needed a record, and I did. I had a song called Tipsy that I originally had Katy Perry in mind for the record, and they ended up getting the song, and hey, the rest was history from there with that. And even with Butch used to hit me up all the time. He had a girl group called Unladylike.
Okay.
Now they ended up coming out on Def Jam, but he called me. He was like, "Yeah, I need 2 records from you." And look, he asked me how much y'all gonna charge.
Right. He was like,
"I'm gonna pay you XYZ for the track, and I'm gonna give you this for the verse." And I was like, "Still the same with Lewis. Just gonna tell me what you gonna pay me, but okay, I'll take it," you know. But that was the last project he did before he ended up passing too. which that guy changed my life, man, forever. Like, I learned so much from that man. But I just kept going from there. You know, any opportunity that I felt like was a good one to take. Diamond, I met Diamond at DJ Drama Studio. I was engineering over there, and she was just having a tough time in the session. So I was like, man, let me play some beats. I'm gonna try to change the vibe up in here a little bit. So I was playing some beats, and she was like, yo, whose tracks are those? I'm like, oh, they mine. She was like, you make beats too? I was like, yeah. She's like, we gotta work. So I ended up connecting with her, and she wanted to do the same thing that she always do. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, nah, let's do something different. I want to challenge you on something. So I made her sing on this record. Come Through. Y'all go look that record up. Diamond, Come Through. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want her to be Trap Bay on there. I wanted her to do
do something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, take you out of your comfort zone, kind of stretch you a little bit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you're an artist, you should be able to be an artist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and I think that's great advice for even for people, is to step outside your comfort zone at times. Don't be afraid to experiment with music. You know, I was really impressed with the Justice League. Like I got to, this was, a couple of years ago. They had a session down here in Atlanta at Tree Sound. And they did like a master class. I'm like, cool, I'm in Atlanta anyway. I was traveling down here for work, and I went to the master class.
Right.
And they were playing some tracks. And of course, some of the tracks had people singing on it, some people rapping. They had like some weird noises that were on the track. And they will always ask the class, they were like, okay, this part here, what do you think, how do you think we made this? And everybody's like, oh man, they were like, Kenny Bartow's the one who's actually singing on the track. I was like, wait a minute, y'all sing on y'all tracks too? They're like, dude, we do a lot of stuff on the track. When we can't find somebody to do it, we'll do it ourselves. We'll make all the little noises ourselves. Versus, I'm like, oh, yo, that's so super dope. Yeah. So I think, you know, the whole point of that whole thing was stretch yourself. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Don't get into a box. You know, live outside that box.
Man, everything that I've ever done that ended up being something super dope was a mistake. It was something that I just was working on, and it went left field. And I'm like, oh man, I done discovered something new. You know, like even with this project that I'm working on. I'm working on a number of projects, but this one in particular, I've been slow rolling it. I've been taking my time with it and just making songs over the years because it's supposed to take you through time. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like dragging my feet with it. But I think I may end up releasing this project later in the year. It just depends on what happens with my career and what space I'm in. But it was, the whole entire project was a mistake. It came from me getting in the studio and experimenting with something and dying laughing at it, but at the same time listening like, this is incredible. You know, I've been giving y'all bits and pieces of it. You just ain't noticed. You know, like for instance, the classic Christmas record. That's all I'm gonna say.
Which is tight. The classic Christmas record is tight though.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, that was tight.
The sound that you'll see.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. Let's do it. I mean, you know, I'm gonna support him anyway. You're not just, I mean, because he's family too, right? You gotta support family.
Appreciate it. Likewise, man.
Yeah, man, that's dope. Like, if you gotta check out his music, just I mean, it's everywhere. So I was on YouTube last night at 12 a.m. just jamming to a whole bunch of music, and so, you know, make sure you check it out. I'll have him talk about where you can find all his music at the very end. But you gotta make sure you just, as you're watching this, just open up YouTube and just go check out something real quick. Right. But you're gonna be amazed. It's super good. Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. You know, it kind of reminds me when you talk about experimenting and things being a mistake. I saw this clip of George Clinton. You probably saw the same clip, but it was a clip of George Clinton talking about how they made a atomic dog, and it was so funny is that he had got to the studio a little bit late, and his group was already in there doing their thing, and they had came out, and he went in, and they were reversing the tape. They were rewinding the tape to the beginning so he could record his verses.
Right.
He didn't know that, and they didn't tell him. So he was sitting there, and all he heard was,
right.
He started saying, you know, this is the story of a dog, right? And he didn't know that he wasn't supposed to be starting to do his section.
Right.
And they were like, wait a minute. And they didn't tell him. They were like, wait, we're just going to keep this because this is dope.
Right.
And so they had to go back and redo the whole song because he didn't know that it was backwards.
That is so good.
But we wouldn't have Atomic Dog today without that mistake.
Right.
And so, I mean, imagine where we don't have Atomic Dog. I don't know.
I know, man. The Q's, they would have to pick another.
The Q's got to pick a whole different song.
Right.
That's a whole generation of Q's that would miss out on Atomic Dog. But
crazy,
I love the fact that music can come through mistakes, and some of the best ones can come through just experimenting with just weird, crazy sounds. Yeah, man. So I know I kind of asked you earlier about some of your challenges and sacrifices, and I don't know if we really scratched the surface on that. But is there anything else you want to add as far as some of your own personal sacrifices or challenges that you experienced?
Oh man, time is the sacrifice. You know, when I look at it, man, I'm 33 years old, and I've been doing this for a long time, since I was a kid. You know, so just riding the waves, successes, minor successes, failures, starting over, going completely broke, losing everything, you know what I'm saying? Like, and having to do that a number of times, you know, and be like, okay, I've done all of this stuff, but this is what life equates to right now. You know, dealing with that mentally, and finding a way to keep on pushing through it, you know, because man, I remember times when I had a record on the radio and couldn't buy a dollar burger. Now let's talk about that. That's some honesty for you. I remember times being at the house washing dishes, and a record that I did comes on the TV, and I ain't got no money. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, my record is on TV, and I ain't got no money. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, getting myself out of bad situations, you know, contracts and stuff like that, and learning how to be assertive in this game. Because the one thing I tell you is, if you have a talent and a gift, somebody else will make money off of you. They will make money off of you. You have to say, okay, hold on. I need to be making the money off of what I do. My hard work, you know, my grind and everything that I've dealt with, I need to be making some money off of this. So find the money, monetize what you do, you know. And like I said, it's gonna take time, but you have to look at it from the perspective of, this is my life's purpose. This is what I'm supposed to be doing for my entire life. So it's gonna take a lifetime to get it done, you know. So yeah. So you mentioned
monetization previously, you know, and figuring out different ways for people to monetize their money. So what were some of the ways that you currently today are kind of doing that, or some ways that you can kind of share with the audience on how to kind of start monetizing versus just working with maybe an artist?
I would say building a brand, even as a producer, is important to have a brand. You know, something that you can sell. Like this. You know, we create music. You know, as people watch your show, when people watch your show and they admire what it is that you do, you know, and the value of what you do is building up in them. When you come out with stuff like this, and you put it somewhere where they can go and spend some money on it, they'll do that because they value what it is that you do. You know, so creating that brand is important. Building up the value of that brand is important. And it don't matter what you sell. If you say, well, I want to sell autographed posters or something of mine, you know, create it. Look at this wall art. This is beautiful. You know, whoever the artist is, figured out a way to reach you with it. You know, it's saying, well, I paint. I know somebody might like something with music. Or that person might like music itself. So he figured out a way to connect to you.
That's right.
You know, so that's one thing. If you are a producer, I would say don't just focus on producing artists, because there's plenty of films, there's plenty of YouTube videos, there's plenty of commercials being shot every day where they all need music. Go to some of these advertisement agencies, connect with people in the ad agencies, you know, because they need music. All of them do. I got into that stuff. I'm gonna tell you how that happened. Cedar Lewis is a film producer, which is Butch Lewis' daughter. She was working on a TV show called Sinfully Good, and she reached out to me. She was like, "Doobie," that's my nickname too. She was like, "Doobie, I need a jingle for my TV show that we're working on. You think you could put something together for me?" I said, "Yeah, give me about an hour." It actually took me 15 minutes. I called her back. I said, "Hey, I think I got the jingle for you." She said, "Can you send it over?" I emailed it to her. She called me back. She was like, oh my God, Doobie, this is it. This is it. I'm sending this to everybody. This is it." I was like, okay, cool. So another lady who's a film producer in Antigua, she reached out to see and was like, "Hey, who did the music for your TV show?" She's like, 6ix9ine. He's a amazing producer. I've known him since he was a kid. Well, she have. And she gave my info. And that lady, she called me. She was like, "Hey, I got this TV show that I'm working on in Antigua. It's about XYZ. Can you do the music?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got you. Give me a few hours." Same thing with her. She called me back. "Oh my God, this is it. I need you. Can you do all of the music for the show?"
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I can do it. She would call me, and that goes back to what I was saying about challenging yourself, because some of those records, I never made a record like that in my life. Calypso, never done that before. You know what I'm saying? She was like, "I need can you do a calypso? I need it to sound old, like the old-fashioned calypso music." So what I did was, I said, okay, let me go and listen to some of that stuff. I'll listen to it, take it in. I'm like, okay, let me put my twist on this. I got stuff that I could play, man, you wouldn't even believe that is me.
Wow. I'm going to hear it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Yeah, you gotta do other things versus just wanting to work with artists all day, because there's other avenues that you can use to kind of monetize your talent and your skill set.
Yeah. That's
right. So I was gonna ask if you can drop some knowledge to give some advice, but you've been giving advice pretty much the entire time. I mean, it's been nugget after nugget. I mean, what he just told you about monetization is a huge nugget that you can kind of take and apply to what you're doing today. Yeah. So do me a favor, tell everybody where they can find you.
Instagram, SupaStar6, SupaStar6. I use SoundCloud a lot. So it's soundcloud.com/SupaStar6. And I'm getting ready to launch a new website, which, of course, on all of those other platforms, you will see that. I'll drop the website on there, and everything SupaStar 6 is gonna be in that one location.
That's what's up. See, we didn't even get a chance to talk about your clothing line, right? I mean, there's so much. I'm telling you that he does. So take a moment and plug your clothing line. And
well, the one that's already out is called Third Row. It's a sports. I'm turning it into a sports line. I got another one that's coming. I ain't gonna drop the name yet because I've been waiting. It'll come out this month though. You'll start seeing the marketing for it.
That's what's up.
I got another line that's like a high end line that I've been working on for about a year. So
super talented.
yeah,
Super talented. I mean, that's just because that's in our it's in our veins. It's the super talentedness. I like that.
right on.
Yeah. Well, man, cuz this has been a great. That's why we're gonna end this show. Cuz it's been great having you on the show, man. Just getting to know you. This is actually the first time that we've met. We've talked, on the phone and through Facebook and things like that. But this is the first time we've actually met face to face. Man, I appreciate you.
Indeed, man. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, of course. And you're gonna hear some stuff coming later on from the relatives. So be on the lookout for that.
Indeed.
But ladies and gentlemen, man, once again, thank you very much for tuning in to another episode of We Create Music. You can always find us at www.wecreatemusictv, wecreatemusic.tv, right? Let me make sure I get that right. And you can check us out now every Thursday at 7 p.m. at wecreatemusic.tv. Greatly appreciate you. Have a great day. Ladies and gentlemen, we are out. Once again, SupaStar 6.